the flight of Icarus. And, Chris, as many years as I've listened to Iron Maiden, I think I got hip to them. I wasn't really into them, during the Diano years. I wasn't that familiar with them at that point.
Sure.
But when I was in college and, working at the record store,
right,
that's when I became familiar with Iron Maiden, and I got into them in the Peace of Mind release.
Okay.
That's when, I became aware of Iron Maiden. I mean, there were a lot of hard rock, what do you want to call them? The metal heads.
Yeah, sure.
That I knew that were into them, but I didn't get my real first major exposure to them until, 83.
Okay.
When Peace of Mind came out. So, what is that, 30 years ago?
Right.
30 years?
Dude.
That is just so freaking weird for me to say. Yeah, 30 years ago.
I know, it just seems like we're really fucking old.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more apparent.
I know, it just sucks, man. But yeah, dude, I'm the same way. I mean, I was not into the Diano years at all. I discovered the Diano years way later in the game.
Sure.
I don't think, Jesus. I'm trying to think when. I think I discovered Maiden on Power Slave.
Okay.
Would that have been about 85-ish?
86, I think.
Yeah, that's about when I discovered them. And then I got really big into them when I was in Korea.
Right.
Because I could get the tapes for real cheap.
Right.
For like $2 in the Korean market. So I bought like every Iron Maiden.
You have to say that right. $2.
$2.
$2.
GI.
You want Maiden sucky $2.
Maiden and blowjob $4.
Nice.
A maiden and a maiden.
Right. Right.
Yeah. No, but that's when I really bought all of it for the first time, and I think the only two albums I ever owned prior to Korea were Power Slave and I think Somewhere in Time. Was that out by 86, 87?
Yeah, right around there.
Those are the two I think I owned. I didn't have any of the back stuff. I didn't even have, Run to the Hills. Run to the Hills was like fourth or fifth. I actually got Run to the Hills. This is going to really sound weird. It won't make any sense to anybody. I didn't get the Run to the Hills album. What is that called? Number of the Beast?
Yeah.
I didn't get Number of the Beast until after Fear of the Dark.
Right. Well, that was the first, CD record, whatever, with Dickinson.
Mm-hmm.
Number of Beast. And, and I think that was, when they first had their first major exposure on MTV.
Yeah. I think I just didn't buy that record for whatever reason until, later in the game. But I certainly have seen them a couple of dozen times at this point. Love them to death. I just got involved with them late,
Sure.
And I think you and I were similar, and we weren't into the heavier stuff initially. I was Madonna guy. Madonna and Thompson Twins and Tear for Fears.
Yeah, see, I never went down that road. I was always more classic rock guy.
Yeah.
I grew up there's a little bumper that Wheezy had put together for me, a while back, but literally, my first exposure to commercial music definitely was in the late 60s because I had an older brother who was 10 years older than me.
Sure.
And, he had music tastes that were, more than what I knew.
Right.
So when he was in his teens, I was only, 5, 6 years old.
Right, sure.
And I'm listening to Three Dog Night and the Doobie Brothers in Chicago and, that. And that's what I was brought up on,
Sure.
And then when I went to college in the, early 80s, and that's when, the whole hard rock metal scene started with, Quiet Riot and Def Leppard, of course, were the two huge.
Yeah, Pyromania.
Yeah, with the two huge releases. I mean, we couldn't keep enough copies of those on the shelf, be it record or cassette tape.
Right, sure.
And we were sold out every week for months.
Right.
You know, and that was the same time Thriller came out. I had zero interest in Thriller.
Right. See, I bought that.
See, I had zero interest in that. I was more interested in Def Leppard and Quiet Riot. Because, and then Crocus had the Headhunter.
Wasn't Autograph Turn Up the Radio was big
that was big at that
too,
time,
right?
and then the debut of Queensryche EP came out. That was big, and Dokken Breaking the Chains came out, and Motley had come out with Shout at the Devil.
Right.
And, you know, that's where I was at, you know, because that's what was influencing me at that time, and that's how I got into it. And then shortly after, once I graduated college, I moved out to L.A., and that's when the whole scene just exploded out there.
Right, sure.
So
you were there at a good time. I mean, I listened to a lot of what I listened to in early years of high school for chicks.
Sure.
That's what it was, man. It was like, oh, the chicks wanted to hear Corey Hart and the Romantics. I'll be damned if I wasn't going to own it.
Right.
You know,
and I had a girl who worked at the record store.
Right.
And she just played that Romantics album to death, you know, and I hated it.
Talking in your
sleep. You know, and I hated Loverboy.
Right.
You know, I just absolutely hated them.
Yeah.
You know.
I dealt with it. I mean, I listened to it. I'm not going to try and say that I didn't like it or whatever, because I did. But somewhere along the way in there, I mixed in some. I mean, the first metal album, and I've said this on the show before, my first metal album I got from my cousin David was Heaven and Hell, Black Sabbath, in 80, whatever that year that was, 80 or 81 or whatever. And I loved that, but I didn't like all of a sudden switch and just start buying metal.
Sure, it just piqued your interest.
Yeah,
at that point.
I just liked that band.
Right.
And then I think the second metal album I ever owned was probably Shout at the Devil.
Right.
You know, and then I started really getting into it, because then I was buying, you know, then I ended up with Y&T stuff. And, you know, my collection was weird, as you could probably imagine, because I didn't just go, okay, well, this is popular, so I bought it. It's like I bought Motley Crue, and then somebody in the record store said, well, you probably like this too, and it was Y&T, like Mean Street or whatever.
Right, exactly.
You know, so I bought the Motley Crue record next, or the Y&T record, and then, you know, found out that Y&T played with so-and-so, or Crocus, I think, or something. Crocus led me to Sammy Hagar. And, you know,
sure. It just
weird.
morphed, yeah.
Yeah, it just sort of morphed out there. But yeah, I was not, dude, I didn't get into the heavier stuff until I got to Korea.
Right.
And that's when all of a sudden it just all, and I had seen Metallica in high school, and I loved them, but I never bought anything other than the album that they handed me until I got to Korea. And then when I got in Korea, it was on, man. It was like I had to have all the Metallica, all the Megadeth, all the, you know, Metal Church, you know, or not Metal Church, because you actually turned me on to Metal Church. In what, like 98 or something?
Yeah, somewhere
Metal
around
Church
there,
was long
right?
gone, but that kind of music is
Sure.
what I mean. I had all the Testament stuff back in the day. You know, the Iron Maiden stuff came when I was in Korea. I got into heavier stuff when I got into Korea, but yeah, same type of a deal though, man. I just sort of grew into it, you know?
Yep. Well, there's a guy out there who's doing a review of the Iron Maiden release.
Yeah, the Maiden England reissue on, what, Blu-ray or whatever.
Yeah.
And this guy is something.
Okay.
I'm not sure what his story is here, but look.
So, my identity was stolen.
Your identity is stolen.
Down.
Commercial while we're talking through.
Right.
But yeah, this guy, I don't know what his deal is here, but I mean, there he is on our screen.
Yeah, well, he kind of...
Is he metal or what?
Well, he kind of, and again, I don't know this guy from Adam, but he kind of looks like what I imagine Jeff Ollie Olsen to look like. Just kind of a metal geek.
Yeah, he does, with the big glasses, big round glasses.
Right.
Bad goatee. Doesn't look very cool. Short hair.
Right. So
picture of his mom in the back.
Sure. Well, let's see what his expertise brings us as far as Iron Maiden is concerned.
All right, let's check him out.
Hey, what's up, guys? Maiden Slave here, and today we're going to be talking about Maiden England on DVD in particular. Number one is the artwork. They redid it, and it is ugly. I believe that this is the artwork that they used for the tour.
Okay.
Well,
It's a
wouldn't that
tour DVD.
wouldn't that make sense that this is the artwork they use for the tour? So why wouldn't it make sense that they put that on the DVD?
Yeah. Of the tour.
Exactly.
It's a DVD.
Yeah, regardless if you thought it was an attractive artwork, if the DVD, the content of the DVD or the artwork matches the content of the DVD, it only makes sense that that's what they used.
Right.
Okay.
Good call though there. Maiden Slave, that's his name.
Maiden Slave.
Maiden
Huh?
Slave.
Okay.
All right, so let's see what Maiden Slave has more to say here.
About a year or so before they actually decided to release this. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with it, this is the original artwork for Made in England. It is a very, very cool picture of Eddie on a motorcycle, jumping off of God knows what. Looks like he's about to land into the audience. He's got his English flag. Good shit. Okay.
Okay.
Does he think it's good?
Well, I would think so. Now, getting back to kind of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
How much input do you think the band Iron Maiden has on the artwork that gets re-released, especially if maybe they don't have the actual rights to it?
Yeah. Well, I would imagine maybe Steve Harris might get asked.
Yeah.
I don't imagine the other guys even knew the DVD was coming out.
Sure.
You know, unless they were doing interviews, I don't even imagine that they knew that it was coming. So, probably not much.
Okay.
Okay, now you got this ugly hunk of shit, which is basically just the Trooper Eddie repainted on a really, really ugly horse. And of course, they incorporate the whole war thing, which is, you know, obviously what Iron Maiden's all about now. And you have a picture that's actually not about war for once, and you go and you make it all about war, because that's Iron Maiden, right? And they're the Trooper, and they're...
What?
So what is his point?
I don't know. He sort of acknowledged they're all about war, and now the cover's about war, and he says that's not good.
Well, again, is he making a political statement with his viewpoint here, saying that, you know, I don't agree with war or whatever, but, you know, Iron Maiden is all about it, so they suck now.
Yeah, they suck now. They're going down a bad path because I don't like this cover, pal.
They glorify war, pal.
Goddamn bastards. Fucking communists. Want war.
a number of the beast, and that's all they are. And yay, new artwork.
That for a second. How many times? How much are we into this? A minute?
A minute 11.
Okay. How much has he shaken that DVD in front of that camera?
About 4,000.
Yeah, he's taken that DVD and shook it in front of the camera at least once every 10 seconds.
Yeah, because he's just showing his disgust for his
his
packaging.
disdain for it. Look
That's
at
right.
this. Look at this.
Look at this shit. It's awful.
Second thing I want to talk about is the fact that this is on DVD. There is absolutely no reason for this to be out on DVD. Even Iron Maiden have started releasing stuff on Blu-ray recently with In Vivo.
Not everyone has a Blu-ray player.
I don't have a Blu-ray player.
I don't have a Blu-ray.
My laptop, but
Yeah,
I don't.
but there's no reason for it to be on DVD. Well, maybe for more widespread sales, that people who don't have a Blu-ray might pick that up.
How about this cocksucker? Maybe you don't need it on any sort of a medium. Maybe it should just be digital,
Right.
digital download. Because I think Blu-ray players are old-fashioned. You fucking fucktard. Kid. All right, here we go.
And I believe even Flight 666 came out on Blu-ray, if my memory serves correct, which was in 2008, something like that. But anyway.
Is this fucking Mark or John?
I'm not really sure.
I'm not really sure what this is.
Yeah,
I think it was, maybe it was 2000.
But again, it's that whole attitude that Blu-ray is the end-all, be-all, and
Yeah.
if you don't have Blu-ray, you suck and you're behind the times. And,
Right. Yeah, maybe I only buy one disc a year.
Yeah, let's not serve the market. place. Let's not put it out on both Blu-ray and DVD.
No.
Let's not double our chances of a sale.
Yeah, and maybe since you probably got this free anyway, dickhead, maybe they did release it on fucking Blu-ray, but they're not sending Blu-ray promos.
Right.
You ever think of that?
Why is this not on DVD? And yet, speaking of which, why is this not out on Blu-ray either yet? So, but we're talking about this, anyways. No,
What the fuck?
He's all over the map.
Jesus God, how much fucking Ritalin did this guy snort?
Exactly.
Jesus, what a tool.
I don't do cocaine. So this is out on DVD. That's a problem because we live in the era or the existence thereof after Blu-ray. I mean, come on, everybody releases something on.
No, you.
Yeah. So because you're so advanced that us Neanderthals who still have DVD, we don't deserve to have new releases unless we upgrade.
That's right. Because we're not as advanced as this dick.
Right.
On Blu-ray and DVD, just in case you're like 90 years old and you still have your DVD player and you don't have a Blu-ray player.
Right.
But come on, HD, that's what we want. Anyways.
Why? Why is that what we want?
Yeah, because he's so advanced.
I want straight digital. I don't want any degradation from fucking transfer.
Yeah,
what
but
do you
see,
think of that?
but he's advanced, and you're a Neanderthal,
No,
and you're like,
he's a Neanderthal,
and then
I'm advanced.
and you're like 90 years old.
Am I?
So shut the fuck up.
Am I? Because I want it just straight from the digital feed with no degradation, none. Tool.
This DVD is comprised really into two different sections, two different CDs, compact discs, tapes, and 8-tracks. On disc 1, you have the concert, which is a very, very good concert to watch, which actually just angers me even more that it's not on, high definition or whatever.
Enough about the Blu-ray!
Yeah, well, again, end all be all existence of that type of media, and
Yeah, I bet he thinks that my iPod here is shit because this is the old style iPod, and I haven't bought an iPod Touch to go with my iPhone.
right,
And me and you both are fucking shitbags because we don't have iPhone 5s.
exactly,
But at least I have an iPad 3.
right.
The new iPad.
You're advanced.
I'm advanced on the iPad.
Actually, I noticed you were standing up a little straighter from your normal hunched over way that you walk like a Neanderthal
That's
that
right.
just crawled out of the pond.
And look, I do have a Mac too because that's more advanced than my PC.
Right.
Back here. The dick. Tech faggot.
But yeah, it's a really, really good concert. It's a really good thing that they decided to bring it out to kind of re-release it and stuff on again because the actual VHS of Maiden England is extremely rare because they don't sell it anymore. But at this,
That would make it rare.
because they don't sell it anymore.
Yeah, that would usually.
And I guess what's funny is that he actually brought up VHS without going, oh yeah, and those of you who's got VHS players,
Your great grandfather probably has
it's
one.
like, why don't you buy a DVD and
Blu-ray player.
right? But here's the funny thing about this guy is that again, it's always this idea that the band has direct say so about a lot of products that
Right.
are released, and as we've talked about on the show a million times,
Sure.
that probably 9 times out of 10 the band has nothing to do with releases.
No.
Nothing.
And you got to think at this point, a band like Iron Maiden has a marketing team.
Right.
They have to have a marketing team or a marketing consultant at a minimum that deals with all this.
So whoever owns the rights to a recording or a video or whatever, they can release it regardless of the band's thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy's good. He's got some great ideas.
same time, it's like, come on, can we just, be honest and be real and admit that Maiden England has been on YouTube since like 2006? Can we just please acknowledge what's actually going on in the world.
Well, where are you going to acknowledge this?
And even more to the point, what if you're a Blu-ray snob and you don't want degraded quality from YouTube?
Yeah, and what if you actually want to own the physical copy?
Yeah, and you want the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my God, who wants to watch YouTube video? That's degraded as hell.
I mean, really, the only thing that Disc 1, the actual concert, has to offer on here that you can't otherwise get, for now at least, is the 3 bonus tracks, Run to the Hills, Running Free, Sanctuary. Very, very cool. I wasn't even aware that they originally did these on the concert, and I could kind of understand why they decided to scrap them off of the actual original VHS. The Running Free and Sanctuary are obviously unique to this concert because they always seem to change them up and everything. And in particular, Running Free is not as good as the Running Free that you're going to get on Live After Death.
These guys, Iron Maiden, have at least 10 live DVDs out there.
Yep.
So if this version of a song is not as good as another version, well, there's 9 other chances to probably hear Running Free.
Right.
It's not like Iron Maiden pulls that out once in a while.
Exactly.
I've never not seen it at an Iron Maiden show.
Sure.
So what in the hell is he talking about? Why would he not put those songs on there?
Well,
They were part of the show.
Exactly.
God.
A little bit shorter, I believe, and I can kind of understand why they decided to scrap it anyways, because Nico does some interesting drum fills on it, and him and Steve kind of don't really play together on some parts. They kind of mess up, like on the Running Free on Live After Death. Magically, they were able to improvise a lot of those little teeny solos and features together, but on this one, they were a little bit more not together with it. They were kind of doing their own thing. And another thing is Bruce.
No.
You're just shaking your head like, what a fucking idiot.
Yeah, well, again, it's this assumption that the band is the one putting this out.
This guy seems to know his Maiden. He knows every little drum fill. What a tool.
Dickinson cusses at the audience a lot. I don't know if it's because he's more comfortable in England or whatever, but he gets pretty aggressive with them. So I can understand why they scrapped it up the original, but now it's like, who cares? It's cool. It's a good version. So the actual concert itself is one of my favorite Iron Maiden concerts. I absolutely love it, which is why I'm so mad that it is out on DVD and not on Blu-ray. Because
Wow. Because it makes that big of a difference.
Big fucking deal.
Yeah, that's on DVD, man. It's not on Blu-ray, and I'm really mad about that.
It's like he's being forced to watch it off a Super 8 or
Well,
something.
but the thing is he was just complaining 2 minutes ago as why are they even releasing this at all? It's been on YouTube for 10 years.
And I mean, come on. How bad really is the quality between a DVD and a Blu-ray? And I'm not saying that there's not noticeable difference. There is.
Yeah, but is it going to spoil your experience of watching it?
Is it going to be that bad to watch a concert from 30 fucking years ago?
But he was perfectly happy to watch it on VHS when it came out.
He's perfectly happy to watch it now in shitbag YouTube quality.
Right.
A douche.
because you can get this elsewhere. It's completely just a waste of money, unless it was HD, there's no point to do that.
Wow.
He does not like this.
Yeah, he is hung up on the technology end of the release.
God damn it.
It just ruined my whole watching experience. I can't sit here and watch this because it's just not in HD. It's not in Blu-ray. So screw it. I'm not watching this.
I can't watch this blurry shit.
Yeah.
From 1988.
Yeah.
That wasn't shot in HD.
Right.
You dumb motherfucker. The best they're doing is cleaning it up a little bit.
Right.
Idiot.
The second part of this DVD/adventure is disc 2. And that is the History of Iron Maiden Part 3, which is complete and utter garbage. Number one, it is only 40 minutes long, which is just super annoying for those Iron Maiden fans that have been following the history that started way back in 2004, and I know most of you guys already
Well, but what would the appropriate length be for the history of Iron Maiden? What would the appropriate length be?
Well, I'm going to think since
40 minutes is not enough, and
8
it's
years.
it's a disappointment to fans. So, what would be the appropriate length?
I'm thinking they should have had 8 years of camera footage walking around behind these guys every minute.
Sure.
That way we could get the appropriate amount of footage.
So we couldn't sum that up in 40 minutes.
No.
It had to be at least 6 hours.
Yes, at least. Minimum, man. Maybe even longer. Maybe they should have issued like a 10-disc set.
Right.
With nothing but hours and hours. Here's Steve Harris at home.
Right.
Here's Steve Harris practicing his bass. What a fucking idiot.
know my gripes with them and their whole history and how they handle it. But it seems like, okay, the first one was absolutely fantastic, very insightful. They go over 4 albums, including the first 5 years of the band, and it was about 90 minutes long. And then we get the Live After Death / History Part 2, which was only an hour long, and I believe that I complained about how short that was, too. But here we are with Maiden England, 5 years.
I can't believe that this guy complained about anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I complained how short that was, and that was at least an hour.
That was an hour, so this 40 minutes, they are really fucking ripping me off.
Yeah, so don't even buy it.
Don't even buy it. Plus, it's not in HD in case you didn't pick up on
Yeah,
that.
screw you. Just take my word for it.
Yeah,
Don't buy it.
Shit. Just watch it on YouTube.
After the last history was released, and we get 40 minutes of content, 2 years, 1986 to 1988, 2 albums, and 2 tours. So basically, we waited 5 years for 40 minutes. And not only that, but the actual documentary itself is just not done very well. The interviews are really scattered. The way that they edited it together was really weird. They put like little teeny side shots of the band members with like some live footage in back of them. And for some reason, a picture of the Number of the Beast in back of all of it the entire time, just to show fans again, hey, Number of the Beast and the Trooper, that's what we're all about over here.
Wow. Angel of Death, what a whiny bitch. Norse Law, shitbag, YouTube quality rules. Wow.
This guy is a piece of garbage.
He is upset.
He's pissed. Iron Maiden fucked his life. Jesus.
So that wasn't done very well. They talk about some interesting things that I've always wanted to hear about, like the synthesizers on Somewhere in Time, how Bruce Dickinson started getting bored after Live After Death, and he started getting tired and unenthusiastic. They go over some good things, but they once again do not talk about any of the songs really. Like Steve doesn't talk about how he wrote Seventh Son or Alexander the Great.
So what?
It's like, what was it like writing Seventh Son of a Seventh Son? Those are the questions I want to know.
Yeah, me too.
What was it like?
Yeah, why did you come up with that lyric?
Right.
Whatever, dude. Just deal with it. Fucking uber dork. God.
There's a lot of stuff that is just not there. I mean, when I first started watching it, I was like, this is pretty exciting. But, as it keeps going, it's like, well, I want to know a little bit more here, please. And they don't talk about it. It's very, very, very vague. This 40 minutes wouldn't have been that bad if it would have been a part of the History Part 2, which would have been an hour of 40 minutes, would have been 4 more albums, including Live After Death. But even that said, it doesn't go...
I can't believe, and I don't know about you, but I can't believe that Iron Maiden didn't fucking call the Maiden Slave for editorial content.
That's what I was going to ask, is how come they didn't use this consultant here? Because obviously he's done his homework. But you know what, even more to the point?
What?
You've seen the movie The Jerk, haven't you?
Yes.
Do you remember when he was in the bathtub and he was saying, well, the first day I met you, it was like like 2 weeks, and then then we spent 8 hours together, but it was more like 14 hours.
Right.
But then the second day was just like a day.
Right.
But then the third day that we spent today was more like 5 days.
Right.
So that's what he reminds me.
I know this guy. I'm just wondering why Maiden just doesn't make him the executive producer for everything they do going forward. This guy seems to have all the ideas down.
Exactly.
Jeez.
Go into nearly as much detail as you want it to, so it completely, in my opinion, falls flat on its face. Now let's talk about the bonus features, okay? You got the old documentary called 12 Wasted Years, which is kind of like an original history where they kind of highlight some, their career, but this was made in, I believe, 1987 or something like that. And then you got the promo videos.
All right, so hold on. So you don't get 40 minutes of history. You get 40 minutes of history plus another documentary of history.
Right.
So you probably do get an hour and 40
Well,
minutes.
the problem was they didn't ask the specific questions he wanted to know.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So that's why it was a ripoff.
Yeah, that is why it sucks.
And 12 Wasted Years and all the promo videos have been on YouTube for years. You already have seen these. There's absolutely no reason to have these.
You know what, dickhead? Jesus Christ, this guy's making me enraged at this point. Every fucking show that happens is on YouTube the night it happens.
But you don't get to own it unless it's in some kind of a product form.
So in his theory, Iron Maiden should never release another DVD of live material again.
Well,
because all the shows are on YouTube.
Right. So they should never release anything ever again.
Never again. And if the album gets leaked and YouTube picks it up, well, then they shouldn't release the album.
Exactly.
What a fucking
Scrap
idiot.
it. Just
And
scrap
God damn it, if they do release it, it better be on Blu-ray. Bitches.
On the DVD unless you're just a complete and utter Iron Maiden fanatic and you need to have everything. And even then, you're probably not going to end up watching this. It's just more convenient to go online and to watch them. And if you are a hardcore Iron Maiden fan, you've probably already seen these. So on disc 2, you get a 90-minute documentary that was done like in 1987. And then you get only a 40-minute documentary that was done for this actual DVD.
So you got
2 hours and 10 minutes.
Right.
Which is more than the one that you praised.
Nathan from Kentucky, I want to know what kind of underwear Steve Harris wears, boxes or briefs. They didn't get into that. This guy is to Maiden, is to what astronomy is to Kiss. Angel of Death, this dude needs to get the fuck off of YouTube.
Oh, I'm glad to see the fans are into him.
Yeah.
So on this entire DVD, you really only get 40 minutes of brand new content.
How many times has he reiterated you only get 40 minutes?
I think he said it once or twice. I might have heard that.
Technically, with the 3 songs, a little bit more brand new content. If I were you guys, I would wait until it's on YouTube. I mean, it's only a matter of time until this little teeny 40-minute documentary is on YouTube. It's probably already out there somewhere because even their early days is on YouTube. So
I know it's out there because I put it up, and
Yeah.
I don't even want to admit that I did that. But it's out there, so look for it.
Yeah, just look for it. Maybe you check my channel, Maiden Slave.
Exactly.
Idiot.
Don't get this. So before I give this a score, I want to make it clear that I am not criticizing the concert in particular. I am, once again, a huge fan of this concert, and I always have been. And you'll get to see a lot more of that on my review of the actual CD. But for this particular release, it is a complete disaster. So I'm going to give Maiden England on DVD a 6 out of 10. Later, guys.
Wow. Thanks for that insight.
That's a 6 out of 10.
Wow.
That's not a complete disaster.
Yeah. don't waste your money or your time because it's been on YouTube.
It's been on YouTube.
But owning a upgraded DVD copy, not worth the money or the time.
No, why would you want that shit?
Yeah,
It's not on Blu-ray.
because I'm sure that this new release was not, they didn't go through and enhance the graphics or the,
No.
the colors or
Absolutely
the
not.
sound. They didn't, remix the sound or anything.
No, definitely did not.
Because the version that was on VHS was so much better.
Right. What an idiot.
Yep. So there you go. And again, I never heard it once that the record company had anything to do with it. It's all the band.
Yeah, of course.
So that once again shows you the level of expertise and intelligence